Hi, and welcome to General Meeting. I'm Becky Sloviter. My guest this week is an incredibly funny and talented writer named Lacey Jeka. She is one of the only people I know right now having some real success in this town as a young person coming up. I sound so old that I just put it that way, but you know what I mean. She is still coming up and working on cool, fancy stuff. She was just on we didn't call it a spinoff. We called it the sister show of The Office, The Paper, starring Donald Gleason of Opalite video fame. That was on Peacock last year. And she's now writing on a show for Hulu that will come out later this year. She made that jump from writer's assistant to staff writer, and we talked all about that. I just really was so interested to hear her perspective. And also, because she was one of the people I collaborated with a few years ago, I just adore her. She is a magic person. I try to only bring the magic people here. So I hope you enjoy our chat. See you next week. Lacey Jeka, welcome to General Meeting with Becky Sloviter.
I am frankly honored to be here.
I am so excited you're here for a million reasons. I also want to thank you at the top, in case also everyone can see how much I am sweating. We're having a weird day around here at General Meeting. Everyone's like under the weather, so I had to get this all up on my own and with some remote help from Hector, and I think we're recording. I'm pretty sure the audio is going, and I think our cameras are in focus. Who's to say?
Listen,
so if this becomes part one that is in like the bloopers outtakes and we have to re-record, I'm just saying so sorry in advance.
Listen, I'm proud of you. I see you.
Lacey Jeka, you are a creator, a writer, an actor, an all-around just incredibly creative human being who we met in a general meeting when we were sort of fixed up almost on a blind date, is how I think about it.
Same.
But then it ended up being a three-way blind date, which was like, it was a throuple.
Very kinky, yeah.
My production company had a deal at ABC Signature. Mm-hmm. Did you have a deal at ABC Signature, or you had written something that they loved?
I wrote something they loved called Gimme Danger.
So good.
I pitched it to them in what I was told was a general meeting. And then they bought it during the meeting. A couple executives had read the pilot and then wanted to meet with me. And then Danny decided last minute that he was also going to join the meeting, which signaled to me, maybe this is no longer a general.
This is maybe a pitch.
Maybe a pitch disguised as a general. Mm-hmm. And so I asked everyone and they were all like, don't worry about it.
He's great. Don't worry. Just be yourself.
I have so much anxiety that I basically like crammed like I was like studying for the SATs, and I like wrote seasons long out because I was like, what happens?
What happens season 3, episode 7? Go! And he's not going to buy it if you don't.
Honestly, though,
I know.
I'm really glad that I did, because everyone was like, it's going to be chill. Like, maybe you'll talk about it for like 10 minutes at the end. And then truly I got on and they were like, tell us about the show.
Okay. And you're like, God damn it, I'm in a pitch meeting.
That's
Great.
right. That's right.
However, you can think on your feet. And you also, I loved this script so much. So
thank you, Becky.
To just set I'm actually going to have a coherent thought. I'm so sorry to everyone listening and watching that I am still I'm not present because I'm like, is this recording?
If it's not recording, it's just for us, and that's special.
By the way, exactly. Just for us. Okay. So I was a producer I am a producer, but I was in the deal there. Mm-hmm. They then took on this project, Gimme Danger. Mm-hmm. They also had another producer named Cassia Miller, the great Cassia Miller. Hi, Cassia. We love you.
Hey. ASMR for Cassia.
Hello. I love that, Cassia. Exactly. Who was also in a deal at ABC Signature. And the brilliant people there were like, you should meet with Becky to see if she will come and produce this, and if you're comfortable with her, and maybe that's a great partnership. And also you should meet with Cassia.
Yes.
And you met both of us individually. I am pretty sure we did not realize that was happening. And it's not that I thought it was a fait accompli, like, oh, you're definitely like, I can have this if I want it.
Right.
It was like a blind date. Like, let's feel each other out.
Yes.
But then they called and they were like, what would you think? Lacey really loved you both. What would you think about teaming up? And I was like, please, that would be amazing. And I think you will agree, I think that the three of us working together on this project was like the best, most efficient, most creatively supportive, best, like Cassie and I would just like baton handoff to each other. I was like, this is how it should always be.
It was dynamite watching you guys work together so seamlessly. I just always knew that if I said something, it was like taken care of, heard in an email, sent to everyone who needed to see it. Everyone CC'd, visible.
And we're going to follow up and we're going to do what we said we're going to do. And we're going to do it that day.
Yep.
Because we're backwards in high heels and we have to do it that way always.
And
so true.
Our general meeting, and I've had some bad ones. And I also do think, and I know that you've been told this many times on your pod, you are the queen of generals. You made me feel, listen, I was lubed up, ready to go, like talking to you. You came on and you knew the pilot in and out. It was not something that was like, I casually read it. I forget the names of the characters, which again happens.
I'm like, Beth, on page 12, when she says.
I'm like, I forgot that happened. Like, you were so on top of it. I'm right on top of that, Rose.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
But also, you're just like the most funny, creative, smart person to talk to. I felt true fireworks. It was romantic to me.
Same.
I hung up and I told my agent, like, I think we're going out. And they're like, no.
Steady. I'm not sure.
They're like, no.
Will you see if she wants to see other people? That's amazing. Thank you for saying that. I felt exactly the same way. One of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you was not just because we had such a great experience collaborating, and then this was before I left to go to Miramax, and then since then, goddamn, Hollywood is, what is happening here?
Dude.
ABC Signature no longer exists, and you are now, Gimme Danger, you are now producing with my friends Naomi and Adam, which is a dream collaboration also.
Yes.
I just really liked you, and you're so smart, and you're so funny, and you're so deep, and like we went so immediately deep in that first meeting.
Yes.
Which we will get to that in one sec. But the other thing that I think you have a perspective that I don't think I've had anyone sit on this couch and have yet, which is just you are really one of the only... I really sound old saying this, but like one of the young people who's finding some success in this town. You're finding success and you're still like, hope I have another job around the corner, right? Like, you're not like, ooh, let me go buy that mansion in the hills.
No.
You had a lot of experience and you are an actor as well. You then were a writer's assistant on the paper.
Yes.
Do we call it the spinoff of The Office?
I'd say sister show, same universe.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Greg Daniels, forgive us, whatever we are supposed to refer to this as. Love ya. But so the amazing show on Peacock with my boyfriend, Donald Gleason, who I just like,
oh my God,
worship the ground that he walks on.
So funny.
And I will weave Taylor Swift into everything. But now that the Opalite video is out with Donald Gleason starring, I lost my mind. Like I
couldn't believe it.
Dead and dying on the floor.
Those dance moves. Listen, I think a lot of people are surprised to see that Donald is funny.
Yes.
Even though he does come from he has a sketch background and he's like one of the funniest actors out there, but because he's treated us to so many, this is a versatile man. I have a really good friend who's very close with him and just talks about him. He's a magic person. He is. He can do anything. Completely. And seeing him show up in Opalite, I just, oh my God. And the reveal that they all met on the Graham Norton show. Maybe we'll do a music video after this. Truly. Our interview. This is the manifesting that we're going to do. Exactly. We'll recreate Opalite. Oh my God. Any day, girl. I'll be here tomorrow. See you soon. By the way, everything in this office is catching my eye. Oh, wait. Speaking of you were going to use your Hot Priest mug. Oh. But now I have my Fleabag posters, Hot Priest, and I fucking love you. Okay. I know. Can I got love it on Etsy. Fucking love you. Look, Neil. Dude. Hair is everything. Hair. Anthony, hair is
everything.
I think my favorite part of that show is honestly, that's why pencils have erasers. Because people make mistakes when they're talking about like shoving the pencil up the hamster's butt.
God.
That show is the North Star for everything that I do.
Say more. Let's have like a quick Fleabag Phoebe Waller-Bridge appreciation moment here.
Totally.
Because I'm so excited. Jesse and I, our mutual friend Jesse Klein, we talked about this when she was here very lately. Like, it is really, I don't think it can be overstated, the influence and effect that Phoebe and Fleabag specifically have had on, I don't even want to say just women. Yeah. But I do think, don't you think being a woman in comedy, in Hollywood, your work is really layered and deep and talks about grief. And I just thought, I mean, Fleabag's perfect in every way, but how they straddle that line.
Oh, totally.
Incredible.
My favorite things, which I think Fleabag obviously does super well and no one needs me to say it, but when you go to the depths of grief and then you can gut punch with a laugh, there's nothing more cathartic than that. It is the reason why I want to make television. It is, you feel her grabbing you by the hand like Hamnet, through the screen.
I'm actually going to break down on this podcast between the anxiety of are we actually even recording and now I'm flashing back to Hamnet. I just think there's nothing like Fleabag that encapsulates us as humans.
Completely
more
agree.
Fully.
Completely agree. And what messy woman.
Complicated, flawed. Let's call it something.
That is my favorite shit. That is my favorite shit, that she is just
totally
filling a hole, staving off intimacy, staving off thoughts and feelings, is like relatable queen, as relatable as it gets.
It's so true. It's so true. Okay. So again, the perspective of, you were recently a writer's assistant, but now you have made the leap, which is goddamn near impossible these days, to being a staff writer. Is that your title on a new show that you are working on?
Yes.
Are we allowed to speak about this show?
Yes.
Okay.
Call her by her name. It is It is called Phony.
Yes.
It is created by Nick Paley, who was also one of the co-writers of Marcel the Shell.
Yes, no big deal.
Oh, talk about another. I mean, we could cry just talking about those shells.
Jenny Slate, I love you so much. Oh my God. Everything about that movie is perfect.
And show ran by Anthony King. Mm-hmm. Incredible.
Ooh, you are in good hands.
I know.
What? I was going to say channel. I'm so old. What network? What service?
Hulu.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
The green one.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when Palm Springs sold to Neon and Hulu.
Oh my God.
Palm Springs. And it wasn't like new, but it still, Palm Springs was one of the first movies they did. They had like Big Time Adolescence, one other thing, and then Palm Springs. And I remember my cousin Sarah at the time being like, Hulu's the one that like, they just choose everything good. Like they just have cool taste. Man.
They really do.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I remember so vividly waiting for Palm Springs to drop because it was during COVID.
Yeah, it was.
And it felt like the only thing that I was looking forward to.
You did not tee me up for this, but I will take that baton from you and run with it. When Andy Ciara, the screenwriter, was here, we talked a lot about that. It was such a balm to people's soul during the pandemic, not just because it was like, ooh, something that I've been hearing about, original, and I don't have to leave my home to see, great. And also because it's really one of the many things, it's an allegory for depression and being in that time loop and not being able to escape your own hamster wheel. Yeah. And that was what being in the pandemic was.
Oh, 10,000%.
Yeah.
I remember it felt like Christmas.
I have friends who are like, I watched it 3 times, and Andy and I would always say, like, it rewards a rewatch.
Yes.
I love a movie like that where you're like, at first, you know, we always talk about like 12 minutes in when Andy gets hit by the arrow. And the only time we've ever seen it in a theater was at Sundance. And
brag.
Like,
Okay.
Not to name drop, asshole. But it was like you could see people almost sit up in their seats like, wait, what movie am I in? I thought I was in like a wedding movie, you know? And so you don't totally know what's going on. Okay. You mentioned Florida. So I actually do want to go back before we get into, again, you being the unicorn of someone who became staff writer and had been writer's assistant on a really cool, fancy show. And I just want to get into the nitty gritty of that because I think that's going to be, I'm interested to know it, but I think that is really unique right now. But to go back a bit, Florida. One hell of a drug. Where in Florida are you from?
Orlando. Can you believe it? I worked at like theme parks as my first entertainment job, the Nickelodeon Hotel.
Ooh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep, that's where they slimed kids in the pool.
I would have loved that. Oh,
people thought they were. I think most people thought that they were at Disney, and then they were disappointed to learn that they weren't. And
so it's just like a bunch of like pissed off kids.
Yes,
who's like, so it was cheaper to bring us here. You thought you were gonna get away with it? Where's fucking Mickey?
Exactly. And instead they get me dressed as Boots from Dora the Explorer. But I think I really just always knew that I wanted to act. Yeah. I think that's Taylor's oldest time is like, put me in front of the camera. And then everyone was like, no, thank you.
Were they though? I'm not gonna agree with that statement. But
okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
We'll get to that.
I moved here 5 months ago.
I was just going to say, you did not move to LA. You moved to New York initially,
yes,
right?
I was there for a little over 10 years.
Okay.
Did
you go to college there?
Yeah, well, I was at college. I was at a conservatory called the Neighborhood Playhouse for Meisner technique. It was
no big deal.
It really was no big deal. But
it sounds so fancy.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
They really would like start the day by being like, it'd be like before 8 a.m. and they'd go, okay, you're on a plane and it's going down. Both of your parents are straddling you. Who do you save in the plane crash?
And you're like, I haven't had my coffee yet.
Exactly, dude. I was like, it is way too early to be asking me which of my parents I love more. Like, and so I would frequently skip school.
Sure.
And I'd go to UCB and became very seduced by that. Started interning at the theater, aka cleaning up human vomit in exchange for classes.
Yep.
Felt very cool. Saw Amy Poehler on the wall. You know what I mean?
We do what we need to do.
We do what we need to do.
Yes. New York's expensive. Yes.
Via that, I met and became aware of Chris Gethard, and he was talking a lot about like mental illness in his comedy, and I was like, same girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Same girl, same.
So,
yes.
I remember I was living in Spanish Harlem. I still had cable. I turned on my TV and I saw Chris Gethard was on my TV. And I went, okay, how? Saw that it was public access. Saw that the studio was in walking distance from my apartment. And so I just walked my dumb ass to MNN Public Access and asked them for a job. And Chris Gethard, who now is also under this same first look deal as me at Sony, which felt very full circle and cool.
Public access. I mean, this is like Wayne's World. Like,
totally, yes.
Okay, incredible.
Yeah.
And kudos to Chris, who is so talented and so smart and so cool. When you said you saw him on your TV, I was going to be like, Broad City? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
He was so good on that.
And so from the Chris Gethard show, I met J.D. Amato, who's the director of that show. He was also directing a web series with Colin Quinn. Colin Quinn needed a personal assistant. They recommended me. Colin was really the one that was like, you need to be writing your own stuff. You need to be doing stand-up. I was doing it a little bit because I was still in the like UCB trenches and like kind of throwing things at the wall.
Yeah.
But he was like, you need to start taking this seriously. He's the fucking best.
And again, getting someone who is such a legend like he is, who sees you and sees how talented you are and is that wind in your sails to some degree, right?
It was the perfect job. Because he was so open about that, but he also, I mean, we would just hang out. We would like eat wings at the Comedy Cellar and drink Diet Coke, and I would like pitch him a few jokes, and sometimes he would use them. And sometimes he would say them on stage, and then Jerry Seinfeld was like directing his show and was like, who wrote that line? And Colin would be like, Lacey did.
Oh my God.
And I could just live off of that for a whole year.
Truly.
And I sometimes did. You know, you're just like, you're hustling with like different assistant gigs.
Yep.
You're living off of like little scraps of praise.
Literally.
And you keep going.
Yep.
But via Colin, which I worked with him on shows at the Cherry Lane, and Oh Hello was also at the Cherry Lane, so I got to work with Nick and John.
Incredible.
I made the Too Much Tuna sandwiches.
You did? Okay, this is like...
I know.
I might have to...
I
literally put this in like the blurb when your episode comes out. I'm like, forget all this other shit. You made the tuna? Okay, that's amazing.
I'm responsible for the Too Much Tuna with the little rye bread hats. They were very specific about how the tuna needed to look. I had to go to a very specific deli that I had to deal with the guy who would like give me this much for like a couple bucks. It was truly, we like tested it. It truly was insane. But that was so great. I got to like...
What a pinch me moment. When I was in college, I was interning for Ted Kennedy at one point.
Yes.
And I just remember like having a moment, like I like went to a payphone and called my dad. I was like,
yes,
you can't believe it. The Too Much that you were in charge of that is just, I mean,
Thank you for equating to the Kennedys, by the way. Because
I'll have you know, Crowley Mullaney and the Kennedys, same thing to me.
Tomato, babe. Truly.
Exactly.
I also got to, this was my favorite part. I sat in the audience every show when they were off Broadway and still in previews. And I was on book for them. And Nick would often stop the show to ask me for his line. But then he started working it into the show as if I was an intern that was like a family friend. And he'd be like, Lacey, please unlock your Instagram account. I just want to see. Like, so fucking funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
But because of Colin had a pilot presentation at Jack's Media. Mm-hmm. I was dubbed the writer's assistant, even though I didn't fucking know that.
Are you like, oh, I am?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Yep. I'm right on top of that, Rose.
Exactly. Throw me in, coach.
You bet.
So they started to just hire me as writer's assistant on, like, I worked on Living with Yourself and
yes,
It's Personal with Amy Hoggart from Samantha Bee and just a lot of shows under the Jack's umbrella, knowing all the while I need to write my own stuff. None of these shows got season 2s, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jack's introduced me to my agent, Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
And he is still my agent. He says hello.
Hi.
And
Hi,
I
Sam.
love him so much, and he's so much younger than me.
When I met him, I was like, Doogie Howser agent? Like, what? I'm glad you even get that reference. But like, but really good at his job.
Yes.
Great guy. Really on it. Congrats.
I say this to him all the time. I hope that we end our careers shriveled up at some old folks' home with dementia, eating
just like
cold soup,
toasting each other, or too much tuna.
Either
one.
Looking at the Hollywood sign. I love him so much, but he's really the reason why I'm sitting here with you, because he then used Gimme Danger as my sample. We ended up selling it, but I wrote another one, which is how I got my first look with Sony. Yes. And now I'm an employed woman.
I mean, again, a unicorn. I don't want to be overly hyperbolic or dramatic. Obviously, this does still happen to some degree. But let's give credit where credit is due. Like, A, great job, Sam. B, talent is talent is talent. Like, if I had read Gimme Danger, if Cassia had read Gimme Danger, if Danny and Steven and the team over at Signature at the time had read it and been like, she was cool in the general, like, we liked her, but like, this isn't really working. Instead, we were all like, I just haven't read anything this good in so long. Dude, that was so personal. We should talk, if you're cool with it, and I know you and Adam and Naomi are working together and like, you know, we can't talk too much about what's going on with it, but even just in the briefest terms, will you set up what it's about and then also the inspiration?
Gimme Danger is about a suicidal woman who is too afraid to kill herself. So she hires a hitman from the internet to do it for her, but instead he falls in love with her. We have since reworked this log line. You and I did, which was also
that's right.
But
God, I forgot about that.
But that feels like the nuts and bolts. It was inspired by my dad dying and how low that made me feel.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of, I don't know, the internet plays like a little bit of a backseat in this, but like I did feel a weird kinship with like people on Reddit that had like lost loved ones and realized that like I was forming relations with people that I would never met in just like the click of a button about something so deeply personal that it almost felt like Instacart for grief.
Yes.
It's at once like so deeply personal and so impersonal. It's like almost like playing a grief video game. Like when you're not ready to talk to the actual people in your life about it, but like you find therapy in these really weird ways. And it struck me like I don't really know who I'm inviting into my life when I share these details.
Yeah.
And the idea of a hitman killing anyone in that state is very funny to me. I don't know. Other people might disagree. I love a dark comedy.
And that's the thing, even as it's so funny because it's also so character forward. It's so specific. I mean, I need like a tattoo on my face that says specific because it's like talk dirty to me, but it is really just your character work is so strong. I felt like I knew these people, even little. There's the grief support group that Beth goes to, and the specific people there. Again, I've just like been doing this so long that there's many projects you read where like there's the heavyset woman and there's the older man, and like that's what defines them.
Wow.
The quirks and the specificity that you brought to every single character. It's so funny while also just being a really beautiful meditation on grief.
Your check is in the mail. Thank you. That was perfectly said. I just feel like, that's the point of all of this is to like connect.
Yeah, like what else are we doing here?
Yeah.
Totally.
And death is the one thing we can all agree. None of us are getting out of here alive.
Yep.
I love to poke at that. I think Kat Sadler is so good at that.
Yeah.
Like people who are able to turn the depths of such a horrible, painful feeling, knowing that like everyone else's time will too come, so may as well spin this into some kind of magic that can maybe be a balm for the next person that will inevitably have to go through this.
We met, it was 2022 or the top of 23.
Crazy.
One of those. So like not great times, we'll say. No. Right? We're like,
I don't know what you mean, actually.
Right. Exactly. I think the pandemic brought out such a feeling for so many people of feeling trapped and depressed in a ways that I'll speak for myself, that I hadn't experienced before. And only thing that would kind of make me feel better was knowing I wasn't alone in my own struggle. And I think that applies to whatever the specific struggle the royal you is dealing with.
Yes.
And I think that also goes to like exactly what you just said. What else are we doing here? Like that's what art is, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to connect, process our own shit, hope that someone else connects to it as well. Mm-hmm. It's such a good project. You have to make it. I mean, I know you know. And I know Naomi and Adam are all over it. But it's so good.
Thank you. I'm really lucky. I mean, when you left the project, I was devastated.
Thank you.
I did
Me
cry.
too.
I did cry. You were like, I didn't cry.
No.
I did cry.
No, I've talked to a few other people where everyone was so understanding and like, you got to go take this job.
Totally.
Cool. You're going to Miramax. But also it was such a pleasure at that moment because I had this company for the first time. It was the first time it was like my own thing. So
Dare to be great.
A dare to be great situation. The only projects I took on were ones I sincerely loved.
Yeah.
And that was so great. So no, I was super bummed to leave.
The contracting of the industry, the strikes, it is a little bit like a roach that won't die, which I'm knocking on this. Because I really hope it stays alive,
and it will. And it's just changing.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a sort of empty, it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be all good. Mm-hmm. It's already shifted so wildly.
Yeah.
And I am old enough to remember way better times, but I'm not even old enough to remember like the truly good times of like the 80s and 90s. I started in Hollywood in 2002. And so really like the aughts were still very healthy, even though things were starting to shift and there was a writer's strike in '08. And like, okay, when did you move to New York? 2016?
I have math blindness, but whatever, like 11 years, 12 years ago was.
By that point, Netflix was Netflix. That had come and really changed the industry in a huge way. A lot of actors who had really exclusively only been doing movies were also now doing television, like what we called the McConaissance at the time. But like, Matthew McConaughey doing True Detective and just like, okay, huge stars can do limited series on TV. There was just a lot of shifting already going on. But now the pandemic and the strikes hit after you get started in this business.
I'm really excited that you're talking about this because I want to know about the before times because I want to know how bad it actually is right now. Because I know it's probably never a good time to sell a TV show, but like I can't tell what things are stacked up against entirely.
I will say this. I think the fact that but clearly you are in the minority, that you had this great writer's assistant job on a really prestigious show and also were able to make the leap to staff writer fairly quickly and are also in an overall. I think that used to be, they were giving them out on the corner.
Yeah.
And now I think that's pretty rare. But it also does speak to your talent, your team, just, the way that you always handle yourself. You were so great to develop with. Everyone would say that about you. I remember Naomi calling me when she was like, we're meeting with Lacey. We're really excited. We love this. Like, do you have any insight, basically? And, I sort of allude to this a lot, but like we all talk to each other. So like if someone's an asshole, I'm really close with Naomi, I would have been like, so she's a really talented writer. And that's all I have to say.
Wow.
And you can read between those lines. But instead I was like, oh, she's a dream to develop with and, et cetera, et cetera. So I think, it's like you're building your reputation and everyone who works with you adores the experience and, tells it. Yes, but that's also a testament to you. But I do think, boy, have things changed.
I had like 5 writer's assistant jobs, I think before the paper. So that was my first little like foot in the door of coming to LA, which I had been putting off, but now I don't know why.
Do you love it here now?
I mean, I'm having a wonderful time. I'm really lucky because when me and my husband bought our house, it was before I got my staffing job on Phony. And I, having lived in New York for however long, have not driven in that long. I will be a menace on these streets, and I apologize in advance.
You mean your husband who dropped you off here? As
my dad.
You were babysitting?
My dad, yeah. That's my
so
dad.
Cute. He's adorable. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
And I was like, okay, you can hang out, or you want to come back and get her? And he's like, no,
I have a job.
Yeah, she can Uber. But so you're not even driving yet?
No, but the great thing is that I got the staffing job after, and it was at Prospect Studios, and I was able to walk to work.
Stop.
It felt like kismet. I know it will never happen again.
Okay, this is amazing. Do you have your driver's license?
I do. But
technically.
It just expired.
I mean, I just always think of that moment in Clueless where he's like, you getting on the freeway? And then they start screaming.
I love when she looks back, sorry. I love that movie so much.
So, LA, it's suiting you well.
Yes.
Did you just wrap the writer's room for Phony?
Yes, like last week.
Okay. And so you are exhausted beyond belief.
I feel similarly to you that I know that I'm lucky to have staffed, especially because it didn't happen from an internal promotion.
Yeah. Which is often the case, right? Yes.
I don't know if that pipeline, I think that I have seen the pipeline still sometimes, but it really is so dependent on budget, if it gets a season 2, if like
on opportunity, on how many writers are you allowed to staff and at what levels, and so it all goes back to budget and what the WGA was fighting so hard for during the strikes of 23.
I because of COVID, I think the jobs were fewer, and so and I wasn't being promoted. And so I was sort of at the moment where I was like, well, I'm having a lot more luck with developing. I have this deal at Sony now. Maybe I'll just focus on that. Then the paper called and I was like, you can't say no to Greg Daniels.
No, you can't.
I'm really happy that I did not say no because I met Jessie Klein in that room and we've collaborated a ton. And she's also just the most gorgeous woman in the world.
The greatest human being on the planet. We love you so much.
Completely.
Beyond.
But
And my friend Amanda Rosenberg.
Oh, I love Amanda
The greatest.
so much.
The greatest. That whole, I mean, the staff and Greg is such a legend and
Yes.
like, just congrats. That is a job you cannot say no to.
Oh, yeah.
And you make amazing connections there.
Totally.
That's awesome.
But exactly to your point, like I was hearing things like you want to be good at your job, but not so good that it's such a mind fuck that you're like, you got to go in there. You got to crush it. But also don't let them know you're funny, but also let them know after a couple weeks that this is really what you want to do. But also like, don't be too good because then you'll just be a writer's assistant forever. It's like, what do you mean? That's not
like, don't be too good.
What kind of fucking psycho gaslighting? I mean, like truly,
But also, hi, we're women. We're so used to this.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah. Like, this is what it's going to be. Cool.
Totally.
We'll do it.
But I'm happy that, like, I mean, I hope that pipeline, it doesn't feel as healthy as it was before.
Correct.
I don't know if it ever was. But I'm happy that I was able sort of, like Indiana Jones with, like, the rock coming down, like, so sliding to get the hat.
Yep.
That's how I feel. It feels like the last chopper out of
Saigon.
Yes.
Yes.
To get this position.
Yes.
And I just did it through my reps, which I never, after all the grinding and being like, am I going to do another room and another room and another room? I'm happy to be employed and get money.
Yeah.
And obviously experience. But like, I always thought if that's going to be the way that I break into a writer's room, it will be because I'm promoted.
Yeah.
And then blindly sent in my, I mean,
Did you send in Gimme Danger?
Yes.
And that is what the creator, showrunner of Phony read and was like, I would like to meet her.
That was my first showrunner meeting ever.
Oh, amazing.
And I was just happy to get that far. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what even this looks like.
Well, exactly. At that point, you're just like, any progress is any forward movement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't just get your sample sent in and narrowed down. You actually met with the showrunner.
Yep.
And then, okay, so do you like remember where you were when I assume your reps called you to say, you got the job?
Yeah, it was a little bit of like a double good cop, bad cop situation because, well, my agent and my manager are both good cops.
Do I know your manager?
Christy Smith at Rise. I mean, can you imagine?
Stop it right now.
I feel like there's so...
How do I not know this
I know.
God, I'm going to start twitching. There's no one I love more. There's also no one who gets brought up more on this podcast.
She really does run.
Jessie Klein, Casey Wilson. But like also, she's the girl. I was literally saying to my husband this morning something like, well, everyone's the worst. I guess just call Christy because she will be a human being and have a smart opinion. And there's no one else who will. I love her so much. You're with Christy?
I would let her run me over with her car.
Because you'd know it would have been good for you because she would never do anything that's not good for you. Oh my God.
It's new. But she also was like, you need to move to LA and I'm finding you a house. And she did. Like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
That is the kind of shit that she does. There is no better human.
It's Jeannie.
Congrats to Steve. And we'll move on with our day. Okay. So, yes, I know your reps.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. So good cop and good. That's amazing.
They called me. I had just taken out a pitch with Jessie and Nick Stoller, which was very cool under my Sony deal. And they were calling with good news and bad news. They were calling on about a pass.
Sure.
But they were like, do you want to hear the bad news first or the good news? And I was like, okay, give me the bad news. They told me about the pass and I was like, does that mean I got Phony? I think I was outside of a Starbucks getting a pup cup for my dog's birthday on the
Obviously.
streets of New York.
Yep.
And then it was like a whirlwind to get here. Like truly, my husband and his dad drove all of our things across the country.
Because you were like, I have to get... Did they do that thing where they were like, okay, the good news is you got it. The bad news is it starts in a day and a half.
Yes, exactly.
Like, get on a plane. We don't care what your life is. We need you.
completely.
Oh my God.
And we had already bought the house. And so like we had anticipated moving, but like in a month. And so we were like just at the beginning of packing up our shit.
Oh my God.
And poor Mark, God bless him.
Thank you, Mark. And your dad in North Reading, Massachusetts, I'm going to say.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Kevin, shout out to Kevin.
Love it. Yes.
Yep. He made it happen.
So so you pack up your life in New York. Where's the dog?
The dog is with Mark.
Okay. All right.
I'm squatting in my own house, essentially. I don't have any furniture.
Because, oh my God, because you need Mark and his dad to get here with the furniture, and then you'll see what else you need. So there's sort of no point in you buying anything additional.
No.
Oh my God.
I know. And coming from New York, where every door locks behind you and there's a million of them and you're on like the 10th floor walk up, I'm like, I'm going to be robbed. I don't have anything.
Right.
But I'll be robbed.
Best of luck, guys. Take all the nothing I have, but
I was sleeping on a blow-up mattress. Every noise in the house scared me so badly that I was sleeping in my closet.
Listen,
and then I'd go to work.
We do what we need to do. And were you like, yeah, no, I'll be the last to leave. Don't worry. I am a hard worker, but also I don't want to
I'm scared
leave.
of my house.
Yes.
I'm scared of it.
He was not here for about a month. You had to do that?
Yeah.
Girl. But it all worked out. And now Mark is here too. And you are settled in. And so how long did that job go for? How many weeks was that room?
20 weeks.
Okay.
And
this is like because again, we heard, and this was also a big talking point during the writer's strike, the mini rooms.
Oh my God.
Like, hey, we're just going to get a few writers together for X amount of weeks so that a network or a studio or anyone doesn't have to make a commitment of, yes, we're picking this show up. But we don't want to not pick it up. So it was like this middle ground, which became sort of such a weird underpaid nightmare for people.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky.
So that was not this.
No. I was one of like 5 writers in this room, all of whom are the most talented people I've ever met. 1 or 2 of which I think you know. Do you know Michelle Badillo?
I love Michelle Badillo. I need to get Michelle Badillo here.
I know. I told her
Michelle, this is your notice. I'm calling you. She love her. Was developing something with her too.
Yes. She was like, of course you know Becky Sloviter. We were chatting it up about you.
Oh,
she was like, she became my best friend in the room.
Love.
She also was like a little bit like Mama Bird pushing me out of the nest because as much as I had been dreaming about being just one of the writers for a decade.
Yeah.
And you're like on your laptop and you're pitching sometimes, but you're like mostly typing and you're like, if I didn't have to do this fucking job, you know, I'd have so many great ideas. And then as soon as you close your laptop, you're like, oh, me.
Speak about that if you would, because I think that's also, so much as we were talking about with regard to Gimme Danger or really anything, like, why else are we doing this? This is a big reason I wanted to do this podcast also is like connecting so that people would know they were less alone in whatever they're also going through. And I think specifically for what you are doing, that jump from writer's assistant, which again took some years, you then make that leap and then like gulp, it's on you. And does that... You're dropped in the deep end and you're going to figure out how to swim, of course.
Yep.
But having someone like Michelle sort of like rubbing your shoulders in the corner, pumping you up like in the boxing ring, right?
Oh, totally.
Is so essential also.
I'm really lucky that we just sat next to each other on the first day and then I like never left her side. Oh. But she would feel me because you just do become so... I think all of our periods synced up while we were in there. Like, truly, we became so connected that, like, she could feel me, even if she was turned away, wanting to speak. And I was such a quiet little field mouse that she would, like, swivel her chair around, see me kind of doing the fish gulping for air thing. And she was like, say it. She was like, fucking spit it out. Say it.
I love it.
And I was like, okay. And so she basically forced my hand. And I'm glad that she did because, like, finding your voice in a writer's room is really fucking... Even if you feel like you have the experience and, like, you do, it's in there.
Yeah.
Nothing has really materially changed from when I was a writer's assistant and developing and all that stuff. It's just the title shift and the money, which is wonderful.
Yes.
But you do have to find the confidence to remind yourself that, like, you do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You just now have to say it with authority instead of saying it resentfully in your head while you're doing notes.
I mean, I love it. Yeah. Like, it has a little different tinge to it, but I feel like on almost every podcast this year, certainly something's coming up about someone we just lost. And I just want to weave in a James Van Der Beek.
Oh, God.
I mean, so like this just happened a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And in one of the many beautiful tributes, we have a mutual friend who wrote something and was saying how James had been not just such a generous actor with him, but had taken him aside, seeing the sort of what you're talking about, that like, do I really belong here thing? And was like, you were we brought you here for a reason.
Oh my God.
And like, you're special, and not act like it in a tough way, but in a like, you got this, kid. And
wow.
I, again, in my adult brain, will never remember who this was. But what a like truly incredible human he clearly was. And God, only the good die young. It's just terrible.
I know.
It's so tragic.
That is such a beautiful story, because it really takes, like, for whatever reason, an ego death to want to shepherd in a new maybe it's a scarcity mindset, because like there really aren't many jobs to go around. It shouldn't impact the way that you treat people, and rising tide all boats, et cetera, et cetera. But there are sometimes it's the most successful people that hoard that.
It sure is.
Yeah.
We will talk shit off camera, as I like to say. But it sure is.
Thank God the James Van Der Beeks and the Michelles will be like, hey, like almost like a Pixar movie where like you walk into an alleyway and like the street cat's like, I'll show you the roofs. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. But it's so true. And Michelle, who we will talk about this when I have her on, she was in A League of Their Own, that the adaptation of that with Abby, and was in that room. And she's so talented. So I think to have someone like that sort of big sistering you, are you now in this mode of... You're going to see if it gets a season 2, but you won't know that for a while.
Correct.
Can you exhale for a minute of like, I got that, and now I'm going to go to set in March, and I'm all right for a sec? Or are you like in a white hot panic the day you wrap the room of like, I need the next job. I don't know where it's coming. What's the, I guess, anxiety level being someone working in Hollywood right now?
My personal anxiety level is always through the roof, so it's sort of hard to differentiate. It's like, this is water.
We're on a curve.
But it's not, well, I feel so deeply lucky to have gotten this one that I think a part of me is like a little bit calmer, that maybe, because it was such an elusive, like, you can't get your first waitressing job until you've had a waitressing job. And I was like, what do you mean?
I know.
And so that was so mysterious for no reason and elusive that I'm like, hopefully this means. But then you start to hear, the only thing harder than getting the first staffing job is the second. And you're like, how? It feels like there's a caveat for every step.
Which I think that's actually the lesson here.
Yeah.
There's also always going to be the naysayers. And there's, you have to find that middle ground, I think, between being overly hopeful to the point of delusional and being overly cynical. And really that is pragmatism, I think, is the middle ground. But you also want to not lose, and boy, I am saying this to you, but saying it to myself, you don't want to lose the creative spirit in the midst of just how challenging everything is now, because I think that's really easy to do. That has happened to me. This podcast is like helping me bring it back and find it again. But I do think like, you got to kind of drown out some of those noises at times.
Dude, I was just going to say, I love your podcast. I know this has been said on the podcast, but it does also feel a little bit like therapy. It is. I'm happy to hear that it's like psychologically helping you through the times.
I'm in real time. We're going to see if I can like get back on a horse here.
Are you, I mean, I know that it's going well, but also like, how are you feeling about it?
I love doing this so much. I'm like thrilled and hope I can continue making something of this. The connection that I know that like you and I had, even though we've literally never met in person.
Crazy.
Amazing. And you're
the perfect height, by the way. You're the height that I wanted you to be and expected you to be.
Thank you so much. And I also just want this podcast to be a bit of a celebration of the guest. And like, as I keep saying, like the warmest hug.
Yeah.
Randall Park, when he was here, and I thought he's the greatest, isn't he? He said this, and it really struck me, and I've had a few people reach out to be like, that really hit me hard in a great way. He's like, employment's always been hard. Like, it's always been hard to work, especially in our business. So I say that just to like, I really try not to be overly negative and overly like, what the fuck is going on? Even though it very much feels like that.
Yeah.
It has always been hard. And so you, in my mind, you were always going to make that jump. It was just a matter of time.
This sounds woo-woo, and also it does not deal in the realities that we are living in. But I think just psychologically to get me through these times, I have just had to think that like the universe kind of has to have your back if you're good intentioned and you're out there and you're putting yourself out there, that like it will somehow, even if it's not in the way that you thought, and it usually is not.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about the losses that I've also had in this industry, because I never would have known that it opened up, you know, the window that I crawled my ass through to get to the right thing.
Yes.
Even though I came out of the window with some scrapes and bruises, like that was the window I was supposed to go. I now know. And so I keep trying to trust that
100%
with every rejection.
Yes.
Like I'm being redirected somewhere else.
Yes. I think that's the fact that you're so young and have that perspective and wisdom that's going to really help you through.
I love it when you talk about how young I am.
That is a wise sentiment that I think we all would be better served. Like, I'm inspired hearing you say that, because I try to have that, and it's hard, you know, when the bad news comes, as it always does. And as you're saying, like, I love that analogy. I always like joke with my best friend Amy, like, I live my life in analogies. I need to understand it this way and have a visual representation. But like, you crawled through that window, the glass kind of like cut you, it healed. It's all a long and winding road, even if, especially for the hugely successful people out here, that it looks like it was overnight or it looks like it was easy.
Yes.
No one, never. It's never easy.
Yes. I also acknowledge that I'm very lucky. Like I know that like
you clearly have the gratitude.
I really do believe that persistence is the only reason why I get to sit on this couch where Jesse's butt also sat, and she knows that I love that tush.
My Jessie books.
I know mine are on display too. I'm obsessed with her, but like it really is like never would have thought, you know, that I'd get to meet her in that. Like, should I take another support staff job?
Right. Exactly.
Say yes. Like, I don't know, follow the opportunity, I guess, to a point. Like, you also have to like be able to feed yourself. And if you feel like you have to stop that, then you have to stop that. But I was fortunate enough that I was like, I can take a writer's assistant job.
Yep.
And now I, you know, get to work with Jesse. And I was just trying to get through that job alive.
Yeah.
I never thought that then it's like, oh, you're pitching a show with Jessie Klein now, her book has been on your shelf for years.
I'm just so happy for you, man. You deserve it. And here's the one thing I'll say. Yeah. You can say that it's just persistence. I am going to say that persistence is a huge part of it. But without the goods, without the talent,
Thanks, dude.
No, man.
Thank you,
it's just
dude.
not happening. So I think we have gotten to the part of the podcast that we do at the end of every podcast called Last Looks, the pop culture recommendation segment. Lacey Jeka, what is either your favorite movie of all time or a few movies you love that are really representative of your taste?
Okay, this is a big, scary question. And I do feel a little bit like I'm in the Criterion closet and I should pick like The Godfather Part 2.
Exactly.
But my Godfather Part 2 is super bad.
As it should be. Okay. That is nothing to apologize for.
Thank you.
That is a classic. Say more.
It is a movie I think about pretty much every day. I used to watch it on repeat in high school. I'd put the bonus features on, the one where Michael Cera was pretending to be like an asshole to everyone on set, and they like just let him make this mockumentary for the bonus features. Sure. What a time.
What a time. Oh my God.
The end of that movie, when they say goodbye, I mean, spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it.
Chills.
When they say goodbye on the escalators.
On the escalator. And then look back.
I do cry. I cry every time.
That movie is so, it's perfect. First of all, the fact that Seth and Evan wrote it when they were 12.
Yeah.
The fact that it then got made in such a brilliant way, but that it is really like, not sneakily, but it is so emotional and such a love story, while also so many dicks, so much drawing of dicks, so many moments where you are crying with laughter.
And everyone has tried to
I know.
emulate this sense. Like it is the perfect teen movie.
Yeah.
When
really is.
when they're in the sleeping bags and they say that over Easter break they missed each other.
Oh my God.
Also, boys just need to be more emotional. Every time I see it, it's so heartening because I'm like,
know.
if everyone were behaving like Evan and Seth,
Yes.
boys,
Yes.
there would be less toxically male men in the world.
I was literally so thrilled to show it to my boys.
Yes.
And that they loved it so much. Like, of course they're going to love it so much, but I think that emotional part of it, incredible.
Please have a runway to express your feel. I know that boys are not usually, I mean, your boys are so lucky to have you.
Thanks, man.
But like, I lived in a time where like, you know, I had so many movies that were made for me that were about female friendship, and that was the driving force of the film.
Yeah.
Boys don't get
Bridesmaids?
Yes, Bridesmaids. I love that mug so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I really needed it represented here.
A perfect movie, and that scene, I'm ready to party.
It's perfect.
I wish there were more films like that made for men, that they could just be like, I have an ooey gooey center and I'm not afraid to tell you that I love you.
Yes.
And I want to shout it on the roof and let's eat Totino's pizza rolls. Like,
So good. So good.
It's my favorite thing. Thank you.
Great
for saying
choice.
that.
Okay, music. You are stranded on a deserted island. You have 2 albums with you to help maintain your sanity until you are rescued. What are those 2 albums?
This is fucked up.
I know. It really is.
Okay.
This is too much to narrow down. I know.
Thought about this too. Dreamboat Annie, Heart.
Why are you the coolest human being alive? Go on. Go on.
I just think Magic Man. I mean, this is also rooted very deeply in how much I love the Virgin Suicides.
I was just going to say, if you bring up the Virgin Suicides, Magic Man was on in the car the other day with my son, and like just on the radio, and it came on, and I was like, I just can't think of anything other than the Virgin Suicides.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so indelible with that.
Yep.
Oh my God, I love it.
And I'm torn between Rumors.
Oh, Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
Stevie. There she is.
And A Day at the Races, Queen.
I think you should have 3 albums for whatever reason. Knowing your plane was going to crash, you grabbed 3.
A third one floats to shore.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Exactly. Freddie Mercury just like comes in at the last minute.
We were a Queen family. We were a Styx
Oh,
family.
Sure. Talk about freaks and geeks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I'm Sailing Away.
I can't.
The long slow dance turned into, I know.
I can't.
Perfect Pilot.
I can't. Literally.
Yeah.
No words. Okay. Incredible. Books. Do you have a favorite book of all time, or do you want to just mention something you've read lately that you would recommend?
I'm going to do read lately because I'm like Jordan Catalano. I don't know how to read. I mean,
There's my so-called like lunchbox. There it is. I reference it on almost every episode. And finally, one of my guests a few weeks ago, that was her favorite show of all time, too. I was like, finally, we give it its due.
But I just rewatched it.
Jordan Catalano.
I forgot all about the Christmas special where there was like a ghost. I was like, this show had 1 season and it really went there.
19 perfect episodes.
Yes.
I have them all taped on VHS without commercials, like the lunatic that I was in 1994 and 95. But then I also, of course, bought myself the DVDs, which is why I got the lunchbox. It like came with a lunchbox.
Dude, it's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's the greatest.
When I hear, go now, go, I get, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I could say so much here, but I just want to say that when Claire Danes was on Amy Poehler's podcast recently,
oh my God.
And then they did like, I guess it was a promo for the podcast, but it was, they talked about as I'll just call it the Buffalo Tom scene, but with the walking down the hall and he takes her hand and you see it from everyone's point of view.
I saw that.
I like need a moment. I was never the same after that. That episode, that show, that saw a generation of girls who were in what I would now, the phrase now would be a situationship.
Sure.
But there was no phrase for it then. But we all had them.
We understood the feeling in the depths of our soul.
Yes. And the guy who like wasn't holding your hand but was hooking up with you and like all of it and just, but like you really did have a connection and just Oh my God.
I'm flooded with, again, really lubed up. But like, I think I did see this clip where Amy says that feeling of being chosen in front of everyone because he had been keeping. I was like, oh my God.
And then when you see it from everyone, you see Rand, you see Ricky, you see, I think the character's name was, it's like Shane Catalano or it was Shane Leto because it was really Jared Leto's brother playing him.
Whoa.
But yeah. Oh, I'll go deep with my so-called life knowledge.
Love.
Oh my God. And then what I thought was so crazy was my guest was Rai So Young and we were talking about how much we love My So-Called Life and about Tino because if you get who that is, then you get it. But if you don't, you don't. And then that week, Claire Danes was on and referenced Tino.
Whoa.
How crazy is that? Like he never gets referenced.
It was in the ether. That is so wild.
I know.
Angela's former best friend.
Sharon Chersky?
Thank you. I feel that is one of the only shows that has accurately depicted what it's like when you just grow apart from your friend.
Yes. Yes.
It's so painful. Neither of them did anything wrong.
No. They just weren't for each other as much anymore.
And they still had to orbit each other.
Yeah.
And there was no...
Oh, and the moms and like,
my God.
I know.
Chills.
It's so incredibly done. I mean, the fact that we started talking about Fleabag and ended talking on My So-Called Life, we're not even ended yet,
I know.
but is just like, this is my favorite episode. I'm just saying. It's amazing. It's perfect. Wait.
Oh, I was sorry. Jordan Catalano can't read. And so I do read, but I'm not, I watch more. I watch everything.
Yeah.
And so if I'm picking up a book, I'm really picking it up.
Yeah.
And so the last book that has really stayed with me, well, first of all, am I allowed to also just say an author that I love?
Of course.
Okay. Otessa Mushfegh is...
Ooh, not familiar.
She did My Year of Rest and Relaxation.
Yes.
She did Eileen. Her sensibilities of like talking about horrible grief and making it somehow funny, her sensibilities are just incredible. So I'll put her out there. But the last book that I read that I can't stop thinking about and have since even been like, can this be like a movie?
Yeah.
Beth Morgan wrote A Touch of Jen. And that is about like social media comparison. It's so funny, but it turns into like Cronenberg's The Fly. Ew. It went in a place that I never expected. It is, I was laughing out loud. But it's also very creepy.
Oh, wow. A Touch of Jen.
A Touch of Jen. I think they're kind of like looking at this woman on Instagram. She's in a relationship and Jen is this person that they almost becomes like their third in the relationship because they're always kind of like role playing as Jen, even though they don't really know this woman deeply. They're just like looking at her Instagram and it kind of starts to morph their relationship. And then they meet her in person and it is truly really cool.
And about the times we live in, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. I felt very seen.
Oh, so cool.
You got to check it out.
Okay, I can't wait. Great. Last question, dude. TV. This is impossible, I know. Except if My So-Called Life is your favorite show of all time. But we covered it so broadly, even if it is, you're not allowed to choose that.
Yeah.
Is there a show you've watched recently and would recommend or that you just love and want to shout out?
So I know that I brought up Kat Sadler, but I think Such Brave Girls and Hulu.
I mean... I don't know why. They just have all the best stuff.
They just have all the best stuff. Such Brave Girls is the funniest show I've ever seen in my life. I think it is the funniest show on TV right now.
Yes.
I think ultimately my favorite show is, God, gun to my head, Freaks and Geeks. I think it is.
Perfect choice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sometimes too... And this is funny because this almost came up as one of my Desert Island albums as ABBA because before general meetings, I usually listen to Chiquitita.
Do you have like a pump up for like, okay, I'm going in, I'm going to put my best foot forward and
Chiquitita because it's like...
That's amazing.
It's about like, girl, GIRL, there are these are hard times, but you will dance again. I don't know why I'm putting on like arms to go into generals. That's probably why they're not.
No, it's so funny. Someone was here saying like, I thought that it was like I have to defend every decision I've ever made in my life.
I think Anna Dresden said that.
Yes, Anna. That's so funny. But exactly. And it is, they're all a little bit like blind dates and like, okay, what's this vibe going to be? So you do kind of armor up.
It can be a deposition. It can be a first date. It can also be someone literally doing their makeup in the camera while you talk, which I won't name names, but...
Are you being serious?
Yes. But all of this to say...
Yes.
My other amp up thing before a hard thing is from Freaks and Geeks. I will watch Nick Andopoulos do his disco dance at the end.
Seagull.
The groove line.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's Lindsay comes to see, because he's into disco now. He's with Lizzie Kaplan. She comes to say goodbye because she's going to go follow the Grateful Dead. And he watches her walk away in her green jacket and uses that energy of loving her so much into this like insane disco that it is at once embarrassing, but also not embarrassing, so passionate, so cool that he, again, just boys being emotional and trying different things. Cool that he put himself out there like that.
Yes.
But he's also like, this dance is dedicated to Lindsay in a way that she will never know.
Yes.
That makes me feel like I could lift a car.
Oh, which is what great art does to us, right? Yeah. It's not just like, I loved that. Like, it becomes part of you. It like fills your soul up. I love that you're like, I could lift a car now. That gives you superhuman strength. I love it.
I think Nick Andopoulos is the perfect TV character. When he does the dry ice for when he's drumming and he makes Lindsay do it while she watches him play, that is honestly... Every woman knows that experience.
Yes, she does. Yes.
And it's still happening to me. I will still watch my husband play video games against my will.
I was about to say same, but it's now, he's so busy that it's actually now really become like, he's not so much playing video games unless the kids are like, we play with us for a sec, Dad? Because I have, and this is like a genuine excuse, but I'm like, oh, it makes my head hurt. And they don't listen to this podcast, so they won't know that like 50% of that's bullshit. It's just I don't want to sit there and watch a video game. And 50% of it is real that I'm like, oh, I get a little nauseous. But it is so... probably do it. But no, thank you. And Mom gets sick, but Dad, you can come and play. But he also like, is like a dude in the world and knows how to play. I do not. I really got him with that one though. Like they really believe that Mom can't watch because the screen moves too quickly.
They can never listen to this.
No, and they don't. So,
okay, perfect.
Matt the other day was like, Mom's podcast is like doing real well and like whatever. And they're like, cool. They're like, we don't care. Lacey, you are such a delight. I mean, I already knew that, but now we did this and we did it in person. I'm so happy. And am I literally pouring sweat? Maybe. But
same.
Can't see it. I know. We're going to like be careful as we stand up. No like pit sweat stains.
You look gorgeous.
I never know how to end this, so I'm just going to get up and give
I want my hug.
Exactly. As we like make sure there's no. General Meeting with Becky Sloviter is hosted and executive produced by me, Becky Sloviter. Our editor is Jay Rothman. Our audio engineer and director of photography is Hector Fernandez. Our tech producer is Griffin Davis, and our theme music is by Jay Rothman. Special thanks to Tanya Dahl and Cody Blue Snyder. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would be so appreciative if you would subscribe or follow the show on whatever platform you get your podcasts. All of our episodes are on video as well on our YouTube channel at General Meeting Pod. Please consider subscribing there as well. And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at General Meeting Pod, and more information is on our website, you guessed it, generalmeetingpod.com. Thank you, and most importantly, even though they're not in season anymore, go Birds.